Okay, join me as we issue Spot 1 in crimes. This is again a 1-hour past bar hypothetical. The first call I see is on what theory or theories of liability might Bill be convicted of rape? Well, that can't be a simple call about someone who has raped someone in the hypothetical. Much too straightforward, much too easy. Bar essays are racehorses. This has only 3 calls. This has to be about convicting Bill for a rape committed by somebody else. It has to be in some way about inchoate crimes. Second call, are Art and Bill, or either of them, guilty of the murder of Vicky? If so, is the offense first or second degree murder? All right, murder takes me a while to write up, so this is going to be a big call. I need to write all the elements of murder, and I need to deal with the statutory overlay of elevating the crime to first degree murder, because run-of-the-mill malice murder is second degree murder. We elevate to first degree only under certain circumstances. Is there going to be something significantly different about Art as opposed to Bill? Probably. I don't know yet, but this is a big call. Call 3. Is Bill's statement to the police, or any part of it, admissible at a joint trial of Bill and Art if neither testifies? So this is a criminal procedure call. We have 2 defendants being tried in a joint trial. One of them has made a statement to the police. This is going to implicate issues in the 5th and 6th Amendments. First, we need to decide whether Bill's statement is admissible under the 5th Amendment. Was it a coerced confession? And then second, if it's a joint trial, we need to worry about the Confrontation Clause. Bill made a statement. Art is also being tried, but if neither of them is taking the stand, Art is not going to have a chance to confront Bill, and that's going to be a problem. So, call 1, I don't know, but I suspect it's inchoate crimes. Call 2, full-blown murder call. Call 3, 5th and 6th Amendment. So far it looks to me like call 2 is the biggest call, but I'll have to wait till after I read the facts to decide. Okay, go to the facts. Art and Bill agreed to kidnap. That phrase tells you that you have conspiracy and accomplice liability. Anytime you see the word agreed to followed by a crime, that raises conspiracy and accomplice liability. So they've agreed to commit a felony to make a ransom demand of her parents. Keep your eye on the ball, and when you're on the bar, circle or underline or highlight what they agreed to. They didn't agree to murder or rape. They agreed to kidnap. The rape foreseeably followed from the kidnapping. That's how we're going to get Bill from that agreement to kidnap. Okay, because he knew that Art had been convicted of a forcible sexual offense in the past, Bill insisted that Art agree that no harm would be inflicted on Vicky. Art assured Bill that he would not harm her. We'll come back to that. Art and Bill kidnapped Vicky. Okay, they completed the crime, or they're in the process of the crime. They locked her in a room in Art's home and communicated a $100,000 ransom demand to Vicky's parents. Her parents promptly contacted the police, who were unsuccessful in efforts to locate and rescue Vicky. Several days after the kidnapping, Art raped Vicky. Of course he did. You could see that coming because of the knowledge that Bill had that Art was a forcible rapist. Despondent over the confinement and mortified by the rape, Vicky killed herself only hours after the rape. Bill was not present and had no knowledge of the rape or suicide until Art told him that Vicky had killed herself shortly after Art had raped her. What are we going to do with that? Did your criminal law casebook have a case from I believe it was from the 50s, where a young woman was kidnapped and held in one of those sleeper cars on a train and repeatedly raped by the defendant? She became so despondent that she suicided by drinking lye. That's a classic felony murder case. Art also told Bill that he was going to dispose of Vicky's body. Bill immediately turned himself into the police. That raises the defense of withdrawal, which will fail. He then told the police about the kidnapping in detail, what Art had said about the rape and suicide, and that Art had said he was going to dispose of Vicky's body. Police arrested Bill, went to Art's home where they found Vicky's body, and arrested Art. Okay, we have all the facts now. They're fairly straightforward facts. Let's go back to the calls. Call 1, on what theory or theories of liability might Bill be convicted of rape? This is a straightforward call about accomplice liability and the defense of withdrawal, and then conspiracy. So it is an inchoate crimes call. And what we need to know is the elements of accomplice liability and the elements of conspiracy. Accomplice liability is pretty slam dunk here, I think. It requires active aiding and intent, and we see that in the facts. We have to show that Bill was an active aider. And what happens is that Bill is going to be liable for the crime itself and for all foreseeable crimes. The crime itself is kidnap. It's not rape, it's kidnap. They agreed to kidnap. So you analyze it that way and you find that Bill is going to be liable for the rape because it's a foreseeable crime. How do we know it's foreseeable? It's so foreseeable that he asked Art not to do it. Withdrawal defense. Withdrawal won't work because the confession to the police was after the kidnap and the rape. But now to hold Bill liable under conspiracy, you'd have to find that that rape was not only foreseeable, but it was in furtherance of the kidnap. And that you could argue either way. You could say that maintaining control over a kidnapped victim, keeping them demoralized, is part of the kidnapping. And so it's in furtherance. Or you could say the evidence that it's not in furtherance is that Bill made Art promise he wouldn't do it. And now call 2 about murder. How do we get these guys for murder? Well, the second paragraph gives you a felony. They did kidnap Vicky. So that's a predicate felony that we could use to analyze felony murder. A big mistake would be to see that and to key in on felony murder and to discuss only felony murder. When you write up murder, you need to remember all of the elements of murder, which includes malice, and that means 4 ways to find malice. Analyze all of them. Analyze intent to kill. I don't see that in either of them here. Analyze intent to do serious bodily harm. You could argue that Art showed intent to do serious bodily harm when he raped Vicky. I don't see that for Bill. What about wanton, depraved heart? In other words, reckless disregard for the quality of human life. I think you could argue that both of them showed that when they kidnapped a young woman and locked her up with a forcible rapist. And then felony murder. And you know the elements of felony murder. You can analyze that thoroughly. Now, don't forget the rest of call 2. Is it first or second degree murder? Well, the default is, and the common law is, that it's second degree murder. First degree murder is a statutorily imposed enhancement of the penalty. And to do that, we need to find the use of poison, torture, or bomb, or premeditation, or felony murder. So we have second degree murder theories under intent to do serious bodily harm and wanton depraved heart. We have first degree under felony murder. We know that withdrawal will not work as a defense because Bill did not withdraw or attempt to withdraw until after the rape had occurred and the murder had occurred. The final call, Bill's statement to the police. And we have to allocate our time as well. Call 1 has accomplice liability and conspiracy, and of course the withdrawal defense. Call 2 is about murder and the penalty enhancement that goes to first degree murder as opposed to second. And then call 3 is about Bill's statement to the police. And we said that that was going to be the Fifth Amendment and the Sixth Amendment. It's going to be about the Confrontation Clause primarily, but we also have to deal with Fifth Amendment. Okay, what do we do with the Fifth Amendment? Bill wasn't in custody, right? His statements were not made in response to interrogation. So his confession was voluntary, and under that basis it could come in. The problem is the Sixth Amendment, that a defendant has the right to confront adverse witnesses. So use those facts to show that Bill's statement is that of an adverse witness, and that if neither of them is going to testify, then it would be a violation of Art's constitutional rights to allow Bill's statement to come in the way it is. It would have to be so redacted that it would not implicate Art in any way. And I don't know how you do that, but that's where it is. Now, as I said, the problem is allocating time. I think that the third call is going to take me less time than the second call, especially. The first call, I have quite a bit to analyze: accomplice liability, conspiracy, withdrawal defense. I still think call 2 is going to take me slightly more time than call 1. Call 3 is going to take me the least of all. But I have to mentally allocate that time so that I can finish this thing in 1 hour. It takes me 15 minutes to issue spot the essay, as I've said before, the hypothetical. And then I have about 45 minutes to write. If the calls were equal, that would be 15 minutes per call, but it takes me more than that to do a thorough job on murder, the 4 forms of malice, 2 defendants who differ in the forms of malice I can get them under, and then also do the penalty enhancement to first degree murder. So I'm going to want 20 minutes for call 2. I'm going to have to split the rest of the time between call 1 and call 3. This is a tough one to finish in an hour, but it's a pretty straightforward fact pattern. It's kind of a classic murder hypothetical with a crim pro call. I hope this has been of value to you. If it has, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and help us with the algorithm by liking the video. And maybe most important, share it with your friends so that we get more people to watch these videos and we know that they're something that you would like to see more of.